Hello everyone, I'm Xiao Gang. Now we will talk about the first of our two core knowledge areas, which is RPC. First, we created a game mode. Then, we should also create a new map here. Create a map. We'll put this map in the RPC folder. Okay. First, let's make sure this is normal. It's a very simple. The MOD hasn't been changed. We just need to change it. We need to make sure it's normal. We can drive this character to move this way. We give everyone an intuitive understanding, and this default prompt hasn't been changed. Let's change it. This should be for RPC, right? It should be 005. Okay, good. Good. Now we have these two things here. Then let's remove the log here. We won't use it anymore. This one cannot be removed. This is code written for ease of movement. Okay, remove it here. So let's do it this way first. Regarding our RPC, actually let's write it first for everyone. After writing it, we'll explain it to everyone. It actually only has 3 logics, meaning you just need to remember 3. That is, calling the server to execute from the client, and the server telling all clients to execute, and the server telling a specific client to execute. Let's write the first one first. When we, for example, press 1 keyboard. When we press the 1 key, we check if it is locally controlled. That is, this thing, is it locally controlled? In other words, what does this mean? Is it a host proxy? In short, that is, you can see that it will determine if it's a standalone machine. There's definitely no problem. If it's this client, then there's definitely no problem either. And if it's this, actually, this is very simple. That is, a standalone machine definitely has no problem. That is, the previous one is old. This one is old. This is new. For the new one, using this enum judgment is completely sufficient. This is the situation when we start a single-player game. This character is authoritative. The remote character should be submit, not this thing. So it is true. So this part is okay. Don't let this confuse you. So this side is definitely client, and at the same time it is host proxy. If it is host proxy, then what do we need to do? We need to create an event. This event is called custom event. Let's keep it simple. We'll call it call. Call server do something. As for this function, it can pass some parameters, but we don't actually need to pass parameters. We just need to execute this event here. But you don't have to do it this way. Because if you do it like this, after it executes like this, it actually doesn't execute on the server. We can take a look. Am I on the server? Okay, then let's do it here. We can see. Let's use 1 first. First, use 1. Then we execute when we press 1. You see, it's actually not on the server. It's on the client side. Then it's client. Then what should we do? How does it get to the server? Actually, we need to simply do this here, change it to RunOnServer. And here you can choose reliable or unreliable. If you choose reliable, it's essentially TCP. It will definitely arrive. If you are not reliable enough, it is a U data asset. It may lose packets. So for operations like ours, we better make it relatable. So it's this place. And here you can notice, it will say here, this place is read plastic. It will be synced to the server. And then obviously we execute it here again. We press it. See, now it's on the server. It is on the server now. After we jump to the server, what can we do? We can apply for some objects. We can get the game mode. And obviously right here, you cannot get the game modes here. For example, look here, we get game mode right here. It's actually empty. You see, you are outside. Okay, if it's not available, we'll print a message here. We'll print it when it's not available. Game mode not available. No, let's give it a no. Okay, what if we use it here? Let's try it here. Because our game mode, we know it's the place that governs game rules. But because I'm quite sure this is okay, we can give a yes. Then we can take a look. We press 1. See, does it fully meet your expectations? So what do we do with it in the game mode? In the game mode, we can write a method like this. This method, we call it spawn enemy, which means we spawn enemies at this point. As for this function, we just write the function directly. We don't need to write the world. We just spin an actor. And for this actor, we'll just pick any one. Let's see if we can directly generate a cube or something. It's best if we write one ourselves. Let's write one like this. Let's assume we write an enemy. RPC enemy. And for it, it definitely needs to be replicated, because we need to replicate it over. Let's not check the others for now, because we're not talking about game logic right now. We give it a ball, give it a big ball. Then this place is like an enemy, so we give an enemy. Make the ball a little smaller. Let's do it this way for now. Then heavy select our BP. VP's enemy. Okay. Alright. Then for this position, we give a... Actually here we may not be able to get the player's controller, so let's just randomize it. We randomize based on the origin point. Okay. So if we randomize based on the origin point, this position, location, weight, batter U, mass, random float. Let's split the spent part, everyone. Let's set it to 500. Then randomize within this 500 range. Okay, let's execute it this way. Okay? Then after we spend the enemy like this, we do this in the game mode. We can jump to the server. So here, back to our character here. When we press the 1 key, then this should be this card. Then we get the game mode here. We cast the game mode to BPL PATA. We get this game mode. Then in this place, we simply do a little something. That is, we let it call the spawn enemy method. Okay, now let's execute it. When we press 1, what will happen? We no longer execute on the client side, because this is all relatively simple. We execute via RPC, okay? You will notice that when we press 1, it generates a sphere, right? So this sphere is a very fun thing. After we generate the sphere, this proves that it is all executed on the server. So we can take a look at this. We can open 2 clients. Let's see if it meets our expectations. Okay, let's move it over first. You see, this is a simple RPC call. Now let's make it a bit more complex. For example, let's do it here. In this RPC, in this anime, we add a box, add a slightly larger box. Then we slightly adjust the sphere's area, make it smaller. We give it a, lock it, we give it a 0.5. Obviously, we adjusted it wrong. Here, we need to adjust the spheres. We adjusted the boxes instead. Okay, so when we hit this sphere, we need to give our player a split to play an effect. So how do we do that? Actually, we can do it this way. To our box, let's apply it. Our first one is calling the server. Already explained it to everyone in the begin overlap. Okay, when we respawn, we take this actor. First, we turn off the collision. We must turn off this collision. Turn off this collision. After turning off this collision, we cast this actor to... This should be 005. If this conversion succeeds, to prove that what it hits is our player. And we must only do this on the server. I won't select this check here, because you can do it here. Cancel 30 is also fine. Wait, this is the same. It has authority. Then after it has authority, we first... What do we need to do? We need to write a method. We need a method to generate effects. We can write the method into this, we prepare a method like this. As for our method, we create an event like this. We write this event. Customer event. This road, we call it give me 5, give you 5. That means you score. But as for this special effect, we let it run on the specified client to be relatable. So we need to generate a special effect. We spawn animator and location. Right, spawn animator, location. Okay, here we'll just pick any special effect. Let's pick an explosion effect. After selecting it here, for this location, we'll give it an actor location. Okay, to make it easier for us to see, let's pull the camera back a bit. The camera is a bit too close right now. Let's adjust it. These are all just small details. Okay. Let's zoom out a bit. This might look better. And here we will generate a special effect. Okay, so we will call this. Then we directly here, we will have this collision with the actor. We call it game mode find. Call this RPC. Okay. Okay, now let's take a look at the effect. First, we still have 2 players executing. Okay, when we press 1, let's take a look. You can see, right? See? Right? Does this feel right? So this means it executes on the client side. Then, after we execute this part, we destroy it because we don't want this to be done repeatedly. So it's actually very simple. This IPC is very simple, but you need to optimize it. Let's take a look. Destroy. Yes, just destroy itself. Okay, now let's take a look at this effect. Does it match everyone's expectations? It's like we're making a pimple popping game. This is very simple, right? Look at this. See? Boom, boom. This one can't be touched anymore. This one can't be touched either. Let's touch a few more. You can see. This is quite interesting, right? This is popping pimples. So this is simply the client calls the server to execute. The server calls the specified client to execute. So if someone scores, we want to take this scoring information and let all players know that someone scored, right? So here, it's best for us here. We don't have a name here. So we can do this. Let's ignore the name thing for now. This is relatively simple. That is, you place a name on the actor here. For example, this actor here. You can create a new variable here. Then this variable is called. Dream is called my name. As for this man name, we can change his name. We don't have this value. Not having this value is quite troublesome. Let's just write something random for now. But actually, we need this value. It needs to be passed over during login and registration. Because each player client's character is different, it needs to be initialized through the game instance. Let's ignore it for now. That is, just know that you can get the name from somewhere. Then here, then in our game state, because our game state has a equivalent to a scoring function, it mainly serves the scoring function. Here we use another event called customer event. Then we change it to this for customer. We also need it to be reachable. That is broadcast, and here we need to pass in a location. For example, we pass in a location. That is boom location. An explosion happened here. That is, tell all players. This area has entered the bombing zone. Everyone be careful. We call it burn event. Okay, so for this event, how do we make it visible? Let's add a print. We'll just log it. Okay, it means we touched here. Then we need to broadcast it on the server, since it's already a broadcast event. It can only be done on the server. So through the thing we collided with, it should be here. We spawned this enemy. So in this place, we need to let it broadcast first. Then we destroy it. So here we need to get game state. Because here we are on the server. Actually, wherever you are, you can get the game state. But only when you are on the server and you get the game state, can you then broadcast? Because broadcasting can only go from the server. to all clients. Okay, then here, it must have been successfully cast. This place should be fine for sure. We call it bound event. Okay, and as for this position, actually, for all collision, it should have a position. We get the actor's position. Yeah, get its position. Okay, get actor. Location. Good. Now let's take a look. Good. Now we spawn some balls. Then let's take a look at this log. Hey, you'll notice. Let's see if it executed successfully. Okay, it seems it didn't execute successfully here, so we need to check whether our game state hasn't been switched. Obviously, the game state hasn't been switched, so let's try again. On this small screen, okay, let's go. Jump, you can see, jump. See, it records every time. It's explosion location, because this print statement actually executes everywhere we see. And this blueprint is quite special. You will find that its server side also executes, but the issue here might be different from the C++ side. Probably not the same, because it might be doing optimization for you. So here the C++ side also executes, actually. You see, every time an explosion occurs, we will broadcast this information. That is, someone scored, someone obtained information. So this is actually a simple way of writing 3 RPCs. And we'll stop here for now. Next, let's take a look at the documentation. As for the documentation, the main point is, after finishing this case study, you mainly need to understand 3 things. Don't try to understand the rest. Don't try to memorize it in a messy way. When we call RPCs on the server, SO2, yes, 相符. The other is client. In this case, if it's an object owned by the client. So actually when you broadcast, it will run on all client server. So if you are a client, it runs on the specified client. Just now we showed you a process of sparks flying. That is to say, there will be a such event that only runs on the specified client, because this punk is definitely linked to something. So that's what it means. So you only need to remember this. And then this broadcast is actually this. We wrote a broadcast through the game state. Right here, this broadcast will be executed on all servers. On the client, this is the broadcast. You only need to remember this position and this position. As for the rest, don't look at them, because if you look now, you'll get confused. And this part means on the client side, we only remember this situation. That is, we use this host proxy to execute on the server. Then the corresponding operation is actually inside our character. When we press a key, we run our server. We have successfully jumped over like this. That is, we jumped over through it. So once you master these 3 functions, I won't write anymore. If I write more, you'll get confused. After these 3 functions, you combine them with gameplay. You can make some online games. This is the power of RPC. And here are some notes. Because RPC it is event-based, and it must be replicated. For example, RPC calls. You call from the server and execute on the client. Then you must have, that is, the client must be this type of topic agent. Only in this way can you jump to its client. Then if you execute on the client server, then your client must also be this type of topic agent. You must have this link. You can only do it if you are related to this link. Then multicast is special. We just need to remember, when it says to call on the server, it will execute on all linked clients. That's all you need to do. You don't need to worry about the rest, because you shouldn't call multicast on the client. The thing you write will be very poorly written. Writing it this way is not correct. Don't write it this way. Writing it this way will cause you to, because with this set of logic, the logic becomes very complicated. After this kind of matrix operation, but if you use Gyeogang's writing style, you only need to write. Let me check. It's writing. Write this and this and this. Just this and this. You only need to write these 3. And that's completely sufficient. Okay, then just ignore the rest for now. At the C++ level, we'll talk about it later. Because the behavior at the C++ level and the blueprint level is actually not consistent. Because when it's a blueprint, it might not be executed on the server. At the C++ level, the server might not broadcast the execution, that kind of thing. We'll need to test it to know for sure, okay? As for RPC, Just remember 3 things. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you everyone.